Hey, ladies. Hey, YouTube. Hey, what's going on? Simple Fitness Club House. Happy Sunday. Hello. You're catching this live. Tap on in with me, leave a comment. Happy Sunday. We're in December, and I want to welcome in a new setting on what I will be bringing into the group, how I will be coming into the channel, so that way we can get down to the basic line of adjustments and what it may mean to you. I want to make sure I keep you encouraged, I keep you installed with information, so that way you embrace your everyday balance and adjustments on your way to gaining control over weight management. Understanding how you have to figure it out for you, how you have to introduce an everyday lifestyle transformation one step at a time. So it's not one thing you do today, this month, or what you do next month. It's what we do every day that equals up our movement towards the months to come, what we can stick with, what we can do. So I just wanted to come on in definitely with what I have been working with and how I want to show up with you on a different level, y'all. So let's go on into our let's go on into adjustments. And I want to talk about food, nutrition, and health today, and health tonight. Like a lot of times I talk about just my personal experience, but I want to go more in depth into understanding why food is like 70% of what our body needs when we're making adjustments towards our weight loss, weight management, whether it's for health concerns, whether you just want to feel more alive, you want to gain balance within your control. I want you to know that it takes steps, and food is our source. And why food is our source is top tier. So let's dive on into why food is definitely our source. And I want to talk to you a little bit into the groups on what we can take every day. So the terms around food brings like mindless, countless images on how we think of different items, not only how we think of different items, like, hold on, y'all. Why is this talking about happy Sunday? Oh, tap on in with me. I'm running the live on the YouTube, so I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all heard me talking about hello. I'm streaming as well on YouTube, as well on Facebook in my Facebook group. So back to what I was talking about with food. But when we think about food, it brings so many different images and thoughts, and what we think about and how we think about it. We think about eating and drinking, but how do we eat and drink in the places on where we consume our food and our drinks? Food plays a major important role into our lives and is closely associated with our existence on an everyday level. Like, it provides one of the most important things, our lives. So when we think about food and what we eat, because we want to make sure that we break it down to small units that provide nourishments to the body that are required and various amounts in different parts of performance, the functional ability for day to day. So it's very important that we understand what a good nutrition is for ourselves on a deeper level and a deeper connection, because the incorrect amount can throw us off balance and have us looking and wanting for something that our body is not needing of. So when we think about the very less and excessive amount of what it requires, we want to see how we are balanced, what throws us off and what puts us at a high energy rate. And a lot of times that is the nutrients that the food carries and how our body break it down. So I'm streaming on YouTube and I'm in the group. Hey, y'all, drop in the comments below. I wanted to stream out a little earlier today. I did do laundry, so I have some housework and stuff that's waiting for me. So 6 p.m. I was like, I'm gonna be pushing it. And I wanted to come at ease when I bring out the information, because like each lesson that I try to bring through, or I try to explain, I always try to tell a personal experience within. But without fitness or without looking at a nutritional balance in our eating habits, sometimes we can be throwing ourselves off. So we could be fighting and working towards a goal that we don't see possible or not reaching yet. And it could all lie within the food amount that we need, especially if we're working out or in a high active environment or workspace. We want to make sure that we eat. We provide our body that energy to stay active, to stay on the up and up, unless it plays on our mood. And I did a class on that in the summertime, food that feeds your moods. Like, because if you're hungry, it's sometimes you be like, listen, I don't got time for that. And then because we're hungry. And then sometimes our body signal that we are hungry, but we are really dehydrated. So understanding the different levels on how your body holds the source on which you give it, the food, the drinks, and how it breaks down and what it does to you is really, really, really major key. And I want to focus on that in the 2024. And I want to make sure that I come within the group and on my lives on YouTube as well, because y'all here. And I want to feed y'all things that y'all can grow with for years to come. So when we think about food, its essential functions and how it introduces different things. It's a nutrition level, but it's also the nutrients that goes in and does the work. It helps bring out the functions on which need to work what and how the body breaks down the energy at what times. So the body has its own mind, y'all. And I would like to explain it so more in depth, but it takes different times that I'm gonna do throughout the year of 2024. But I wanted to introduce the different parts of how food can help your body and what food is supposed to be. So food is supposed to be definitely edible. We're supposed to be able to chew. We're supposed to use our jawline. That's part of our indigestion with digestion or food. Like, it's supposed to nourish the body. So it's supposed to add benefits towards the body, either to our functionability, our organs, our mindset, our blood flow, or even to elimination. So we're supposed to be able to eliminate the food that we intake. Food is everything that we eat, and it nourishes our body in such a essential way that it's like substantial to our living, who we are. So when we think about our intake, I just want to go down to a bigger factor. We think about our social life surrounding food, who we eat with. During the holiday times, we always have family gatherings, or during the summertime, we go to different barbecues, festivities. During May, like we have 4th of July and all of those things that's going on. What about birthdays, marriages? Those things as well, we look at as functional. How many times out of the year are we partaking into that? Like, think about it. How many times out of the month do we partake in outside activities and foods? Well, it holds a significant meaning to you. And when we think about approaching it, we get a little sensitive, right? Like, hold on, let me have my food, or like, let me, like this. But you want to know why you hold that emotional function to it. So it goes deeper into our love. We love the people that we're around when we eat these things. These things cause comfort. These things sometimes put us to sleep, or they give us energy. Like, so our connection with food is so deeper than how and what we intake. It's the emotional side to it as well. And sometimes why those habits on what we say we got to get rid of is there. It's because around these different functions that food holds a quality of our lives. So we don't want to exit those things out. We just want to make sure that we make different choices within that group that fit you. So you don't want to get rid of things that draw happiness into your social functions with food. Like you don't want to get rid of, different connections that when you're making adjustments, whether for weight management, weight loss, or for health concerns. Sometimes we have to make different adjustments where we have to withdraw from sugar, withdraw from salt amounts, and then we withdraw from the people that we usually consume or be around that have those large amounts. Like sometimes our favorite auntie make the collard greens, she a little heavy on the salt. Then we don't want to go over because the collard greens are a little salty. Like that's just an example. Like, but that don't mean you don't go visit. That don't mean you don't connect. That means you be open and honest with your people that you are around and let them know about the concerns that you may be having within yourself. They may be having them as well. And they just not avoiding them because they know the beverages, dishes that they bring cause happiness around them. So they're avoiding their health as well because no one is speaking up or speaking to each other. So these things can bring on sicknesses and everything else where we feeling like our food is bland, and it's not. It's just trying different things in a different way that spice it up for you in a healthy way that maintain balance. We're not throwing the body off. So how do we know if we're throwing the body off? We want to make sure that the foods that we are intaking, like actually is doing something. Our stomach is easily digesting them. We're looking for eliminations. We're looking and making sure that we're not gassy, we're not bloated. And if those things are happening, we notate them. So how do we notate them? Looking at your 5 corporate pillars. Y'all know you're gonna get tired of me talking about these 5 things, but I love they're talking about rest, movement, nutrition, and weight management. So when it comes down to our corporate pillars, like these things really is the wellness and balance of life. When we think about rest, it's how much sleep are you getting? Because our digestive system has a function when we sleep. Our digestive system has a function when we are awake. It's thinking about the movement. The movement help keep the muscles tighten and moving at its top-notch shape. If we don't use it, it becomes inactive in that area. Let me hit the light, y'all. I'm sorry. The light just got a little dull on me. There I go. Here I come. I'm back. I just had got a little dark down here, so I wanted to make sure I hit the light. It was getting dark around here after 5 p.m. It starts to get a little dark. Right now it's like 4 my time. Let me know what's your time zone. But when we think about movement and the muscles that surrounds every day, we just think about our knees, our ankles, our arms. But within within that just regular motion, we have muscles that lies within that. Like it builds cartilage around the bone. They're keeping it from being so fragile, or less weakened in certain different areas. Even our ligaments hold up the muscles that is attached to each other. So we want to make sure that when we're thinking about movement, we're not thinking about it in one way. We want to think about the whole foundation within itself. So having a nutritional balance is what provides that muscle mass, that solid muscle, and understanding what nutritional balance for you is top tier key. It's important. It's essential because how your body holds and break down different foods is different from another person. Why? Because our body is made up of these 3 main things: our genetic connection, our digestion system, and inflammation. And inflammation happens as an aid to the body system. So over time, we use the inflammation and as like, oh, I'm getting a fever, because we get rashes or different other side effects that our body is trying to fight off what's going on in there. So we don't understand the balance. But once you feed your body different things, you will understand the balance. You will understand the settle moments within your body, your face, your skin, how it holds fluid, how it's relaxed when you're more active, when you're more on your feet, than less times when you're not. Like you will see the swelling is from work or water. Like it's just understanding the balance and how your body consumes different things. So somebody can drink a gallon of water, where if somebody's holding fluid, cannot drink that same amount of water. Why? Because their body does not releases that amount of water in time enough before it pockets and stores. So we want to know how our water intake plays on us and how we can nourish ourselves around that same thing when we're looking and listening to people giving off advice about staying hydrated, losing weight, eating this and eating that versus that. You just want to look at yourself more in depthly. So I want to always guide you in a wellness way. So a wellness way to you, write things down. One week you feel this way, next week you feel another way. It's important to your balance. Why? Because stress. So if we're having a stressful moment and we're having a reaction over time at the same time of day, same hour, certain times we could be aggravated because if you're having eaten within a window span, that could be causing on more stress or our reaction to add towards stress that our body is feeling tense. It can soothe. Even with stress, it really relies on our reaction, how we react towards the thing that is causing us to feel stressed at that time. Usually our body feel tightened, we feel anxious, or we feel angered, or we feel bothered or sad and confined. Well, when those moments happen, it is great ways that how you can control your reaction. Like a lot of times, breathing techniques, counting, giving yourself a second instead of answering right there. Allow yourself to have a couple seconds to answer the question. Can you give me a minute? Like, period. Like saying no. Like when it's pressure to say yes. Those things can relieve just that moment pressure of where we feel underneath the stress to answer the question at right then and there. And we give the wrong question that doesn't benefit who we are or our time and schedule. So options and priority is very important. Relationship is number 5 because how we connect and respond to people and how we expect them to respond back to us is very important. You may not think about it, but it can hold you in a space where you don't want to do nothing unless you're around another type of person or a group. You might not want to be active unless you're within a group and not as active if you're by yourself. Those things is how the job feels. Social eating. When we get together, how are we eating together? Are they implementing anything, healthy choices of balance, or are they bringing only things that flame you up, bring you heartburn? Those things are important. When we look at these 5 key pillars, we can use them in many ways to reframe how we can bring balance and wellness into our lives, our space. So it's very important and beneficial that you understand who you are, like as a person, you know what I mean, as as a human, as you, like as me. So I had put a post up, I am who I am, and I be doing what I be doing. Why do I say that? Because you are an individual person that has dislikes, that has ups and downs, that has ins and outs, that may need to maintain, that may not need to maintain, but we all have one area where we focus on maintaining than the other because it's in control. So it's all about what balance and what focus you need to put in at one time, not putting everything on the table at the same time is where we know true balance is key. Like that's how we know we got balance because I can't put 5 things on here. How? I got 2 hands, 5 fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when we focus on one thing at a time, complete that task and have room for another, that's how you know I completely have a balanced flow for myself. When we understand that the more rest I get, the more energy I can have is where a balance comes for yourself. Now, everybody's rest level is different. Some people can rest 6 hours and feel like they slept for 12. Like anything underneath that is not giving the body enough time to, and I said what I said, not giving the body enough time to actually function at 100%. And it's studies that's behind that fact. And it's really, they're asking for 8 hours. But it's a small, not a small, but half of amount that can function very high off of 6 hours of rest, like, and show up at 100%. But those ones nourish themselves, they eat, they do a lot of different other things to show up and complete that balance that they missing there, that they showed up in that study in a different way. So I did a sleep study, like it was like 2021, and I was just doing research. It's like I love health and science. So I'm optimistic to reading and learning and taking free webinars anytime that I possibly can in classes. So with sitting into the sleep study, I used to suffer with sleeping well at night, and I didn't quite understand why. Like I was tired and ready to go to bed, but I would get up multiple times out of the night. Sometimes was to use the bathroom, sometimes it wasn't really to use the bathroom, but I went. And I didn't understand why I was like disturbed until I understood my caffeine amounts that I was drinking during the time that I was working 16-hour doubles, like 2 to 3 days out of the week. And it was like right behind each other. And then that night before I was trying to go to sleep, I would be off balance because my body didn't process all the caffeine amount within those days. And I would have like 3 cups of, you know what I mean, Wawa coffee. And I was up all night, and I used to do 3 to 11, 11 to 7. So doing that back whip path, I would have a coffee before I would go in, hit what I had to do, probably a coffee crossing over, and then a coffee in the middle of the night. Calculating 3 coffees, that was 6 coffees plus my regular amount that I was having on a day to day. It was too much for my body. Hands were shaky, didn't understand what's going on. But once I grabbed onto my caffeine amount and understood that was too large of an amount for my body, I was able to make adjustments and balance. Now, withdrawing from different things that our body is used to, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that it is easy. Our body draws for those things even more and crave for those things. So I understood a method on how to get my body to let go of unhealthy habits that I seem to have created over a large period of time. I'm talking about years, y'all, not no one day. I mean years. So with my caffeine level, I was able to add into something else. So I got into herbal teas, and I will make sure they had no caffeine in them. Into that, so I learned and took an herbal class on how to make herbal teas and drinks. So I made hydration drinks to help support my body level because I knew the intake and what I was going for with my goal. I wasn't going to be able to stick to it with getting health drinks from the store. The sugar amount was too high. It did carry the caffeine, and I didn't want to give up my coffee. So to balance it out, I made my own drinks. To this day, I still make my own homemade drinks, y'all. So I make juice and everything. We have our pitchers of drink. We don't buy drinks out. We might buy a soda here. I love a ginger ale soda, and a root beer is my favorite. 2 sodas. Like, but other than that, I really don't care for the soda amount too much. But back to the story with the caffeine. So understanding how I had to add something else in, it was just the warmth, the comfort. It was the smell of coffee actually, than it was me needing a coffee for energy at that moment. And once I was able to understand that, oh, that was my trigger switch was there, I was able to add in tea. So I did tea at work during my supposed to be my second cup. And I still had my 2 cups, one before shift and one towards the end to keep me up. And then after that, I started having no coffee before work, having a tea, and then having a coffee halfway before doing the job. I would even go as far as not even bringing money to work. So I wouldn't buy coffee. I would bring my coffee amount with me that would only go in a K cup, just so that way I would stay on to balance with what I told myself when I got down to my 1 coffee. And y'all, I did that 1 coffee and survived it. And I was happy that because I didn't think I could do it, but I just stayed till I was like, well, what can I do? What can I do? Because I knew I needed coffee real bad. And I was telling all the girls at the job, yo, I wish I had a coffee, y'all. I wish I had a coffee. And then you know what they did, because they good coworkers? They go buy you a coffee. No, and we're like, oh, you don't have no money? No, I didn't bring no, and they go buy. So that's why I say it depends on your relationship as well with work, how your approach with your job, like that. right there, you have to see how they feed you, how do they nourish you, because it is a relationship. Like, so you let them know as well when you starting new adventures and making adjustments. You don't have to go too personal, but you just let them know that you started something new and it involves reducing coffee, or it involves inducing this, or I'm adding in a couple more walks around. So, and then you never know who it inspired. And it always inspired somebody else at my job all the time, especially when I went back after they seen my weight loss amount. It was like, what in the world? I left there wearing a size like 2X L, y'all, and size 18. And the girls was so, they were just like so shocked and happy to see me. And I always was me. I always loved who I was. And I never could say that I didn't love who I was. I always loved who I was. But I knew where it was a time for me to make an adjustment for me. And we all know that. So I wanted to come on in with that Coach Self Warrior Talk to let you know that find your key to food. Find your love, your social connection, the one that you love, the one that's hindering the change and adjustments that you may need to take for you, whether it's to manage your weight, whether it's for your weight loss journey, whether it is for health adjustments alone. Sometimes our social connection can be that key to keeping us to succeeding. You don't have to be at it alone, but if you are, just understand that going to your 5 key pillars: rest, movement, nutrition, stress management, relationships, bringing it down to those 5 things, and how you can implement one thing better than yesterday that can improve you, will help you create your consistency flow for each day, and each day equal up to each week, and each week equal up to the month. Don't ever forget that. Thank y'all for tapping on in with Self Warrior with me, Wellness and Balance. It was pretty quick and easy. I will be checking y'all out on the timelines. I wanted to make sure I came in to the clubhouse and spread out some love and some Christmas cheer. Y'all see me? I'm on the go. I'm gonna go today. All right. I had my reindeers on since December the 1st. I could not wait. I got my Santa Claus hat. I got everything else out. This is how I bring self-cheer to me. I love the holidays, and a lot of times we want to do things, we want to go places, we want to be everywhere. And when we can't do that, it makes us feel not as cheerful. So I wanted to bring some cheer, laughter, joy for the whole month. I will be doing, unique things that I feel as though will be funny to me, that would spread a laugh out, or spread out some love, as well as spread out that fitness, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all check out the winter routine. Check out the winter routine. We got bicycle kicks is the first one. Later on today, I will be dropping out the second reel for the month. 'Tis the season. Let's go, ladies. Knees up. I'm going to need the knees up, because if you know me, you know how I get down. We're going to always get down and hit it out on these mats. Oh, look, Kitty in the back. I didn't even know that. She's right there where I left her at. We did exercises earlier today. Like, that's, I'm on a, can y'all see it on the YouTube? I think they can see it. I don't know if Facebook y'all can see it. But yeah, we did exercises today. Gain a relationship with the things that you're trying to introduce with. Give it little nicknames, make it fun and doable. Exercise does not have to be so strict. Only when you strictly focus that way is when it becomes that way. But I love y'all. Y'all holla at y'all later.